you can talk about the sticks and being wet, but everyone has to play in the same condition. This is where you're going to see the real athletes have to make plays and sit down and be very cautious with their angles to make sure they don't slip.
So here's the first face-off between Bose and Smith. Mention again Bose' success against Harper. Harper was 16 for 26 against the Blue Devils last year. Smith, ACC Defensive Player of the Week earlier this season, and a quick win for Bose and an early opportunity. But a save by Turner Upgren. So 7 seconds into this one, the Duke goalie gets his stick on the ball and a solid start. That's one way to get yourself into a game, I guess, if you're Turner Upgren. Kevin Quigley with the ball now for Duke as the Blue Devils look to set up their first offensive possession. Here are your keys to the game, Joe.
Yeah, both of these teams, obviously, a little bit different style of play. However, the big question mark for me is which defense is going to step up and make plays and get stops. There we saw Turner Upgren with his first stop of the day to, again, allow the Duke offense to begin to operate. Again, these guys are fun to watch, high explosive offenses. Let's see and enjoy this one.
Riley Walsh draws the slide. Here's Brad Smith, who was a midfielder until this season, now running with the attack. Joey Manown, goal line extended, now in behind the cage. There's the footing issue you talked about.
Yeah, everyone can make adjustments to their sticks. These guys are obviously the best athletes and lacrosse players in the country. They're going to make those changes, but the footing's something. Wow, big backup there by Denver.
Shot clock was starting to run out as well. Seau couldn't quite get all of that one, but had to make something happen. Obviously, the 80-second shot clock new to the game this year, so you have weather issues going on today. Teams still adjusting. We had a chance to talk to Coach Bill Tierney. He said, look, everybody's still in that adjustment period when it comes to the shot clock.
Yeah, definitely something that's going to allow for more possessions and fun for the fans. The other thing that, you saw Denver there too, Coach Tierney did discuss how he's let John Orson really take the reins of that defense, and he really trusts him, and he's got these guys playing with a lot of confidence. And there you see, big-time stop by Denver. That's the first one of the game. And let's see now if Duke can answer the bell here and get a stop on their end.
You talked about defense and goalie play. That was your first key. Upgren already with a save, and then the Pioneers a solid defensive possession in the box. Now with just over 2 minutes into this game, a turnover, perhaps weather-related. We don't want to beat that drum too often here today, but certainly at the outset it'll be interesting to see how everybody handles it.
That was a great offensive set by Denver. Again, if that pass is handled, that's a good look for Denver. Their offense is dynamic. They're fun. They score in a lot of different ways. Once these guys get their feet settled in here, we're going to start to see some more goals and better looks at the cage. Again, like you mentioned, we're going to see them adjust to the weather with their sticks and their footing, and we should be in for a really good matchup here.
Garrett Ledman out there with the Blue Devils. Ledman, Bedore, and Lowry, the midfield line. Talked about Smith going from midfield to attack. Lowry started the season as an attackman, now slides back to the midfield with Smith healthy, coming off of foot surgery about a month ago. Manown trying to deal with Dylan Gaines. In behind the cage is Robertson, who had 4 goals a year ago against Denver. All 4 coming in a 7-0 run. Duke turned a 4-goal deficit into a 3-goal victory all in the fourth quarter last year. A 15-12 win a season ago. Here is Smith. John Ober. Bedore works against the shorty. Draws the slide temporarily. Bedore gets his hands free and steps into a goal. Cameron Bedore gives Duke the 1-0 lead.
Blue Devils goal scored by number 5, Cameron Bedore.
This is a big-time goal here by Cameron Bedore. First goal of the game. We're going to watch him just working this guy on the top here. Slides back to his right hand, puts it right off the goalie's hip there for a great finish. And notice you'll see right behind the goal, 2 seconds left on the shot clock. That is a tough goal to stomach if you're the Denver defense right there. You're playing great D and let a guy roll back to the middle and get his hands free and shoot that off hip. Denver defense is going to be a little frustrated about that one.
Saw Barnes lose his footing on that particular play. That is Bedore's first goal since he started the season off with a hat trick against Furman. So he's back into the score sheet. Pioneers with possession.
This is something, too, that I know the coaches are still trying to figure out with the new shot clock rules. There's going to be some interesting riding techniques and clearing techniques, and we're seeing Denver drop back to the midline. We're seeing Duke shut off all of the shorties to make it difficult and let the Denver Poles handle, especially with these conditions. That could be a key factor here late in the game, is the clearing percentage and the riding, and maybe stealing some goals in between the lines.
Dwinell working against the shorty, Blake Lightshow. Sends it over to Ethan Walker, who had a field day in this game last season. JT Giles Harris tasked with that assignment.
That is a big-time matchup that we're going to be keying all day. Those two All-Americans going head-to-head. This is what you want to see in a college lacrosse game.
Upgren makes the save, comes out to handle the ground ball, and the outlet pass to Van Raphorst, the All-American on the run. McCone giving chase. And that one skips past the stick of Brad Smith. So the Blue Devils in transition turn it over. Sloppy as you might expect for both teams at times here at the start.
We talked about goalie play and defense. What a big-time save and ground ball, and first-time clear by Upgren there. Great play. He's feeling it. I think this is going to be a great, fast-paced game once these guys clean their sticks up.
So now it's Colton Jackson, preseason honorable mention All-American, begins the possession for Denver. Rutan in behind the cage. And now Walker again. 6 goals, 2 assists a season ago. Involved in 8 of Denver's 12 goals against the Blue Devils. Jack Hanna with the shorty. Draws the slide. Pioneers work the ball around. Still plenty of time on the shot clock with 30 seconds. That shot toward Upgren. Another save. That outlet pass toward Jack Fowler. Down on the ground. Van Raphorst giving help, but it's off of his stick and will stay with Denver. Fresh shot clock for the Pioneers.
That's 2 failed clears that have resulted in an additional possession here for Denver. These guys are lethal on offense, and you really don't want to let them get set up and get into a rhythm and figure out what the Duke defense is doing. Hats off to Duke here. They're doing a great job in the 6-on-6 set, keeping Denver at bay and forcing really low percentage shots.
John Prendergast trying to bother Ted Sullivan. Sullivan, 2-time Big East Freshman of the Week last year. Pioneers, exceptional ball movement even in the conditions. Walker, I don't think that one got through to Upgren. Instead, the ground ball is picked up by the Blue Devils. It's Wilson Stevenson getting some early playing time.
Big time save by Van Raphorst.
Riley Walsh, the recipient of that outlet pass. Blue Devils successful on the clear this time. Stevenson, an early run as an LSM here this afternoon.
Yeah, I really like what Denver's doing in their ride. They're dropping back to the midline, forcing Duke to play 6-on-6 with only about 60 seconds left on the shot clock. And again, if they can keep them over there and not allow them to clear within 20 seconds, it will also be a violation and they would receive the ball back. So, interesting strategy. Here we see Duke get Brad Smith with a short stick.
We saw that pick play to force the switch. Smith draws the slide. Nice job that time by Gaines, forcing Brad Smith all the way to the top of the box. Quigley. Less than 15 to go on the shot clock now. Ball in the stick of Joe Robertson. O-line extended, chopped at by a couple of defenders. It'll be scooped up by Denver. Duke gets the ball back. The shot clock expired just before Brad Smith was able to put it in the back of the net.
That's unfortunate, but here we see the benefits of playing with the shot clock. Get your shots off a little bit sooner. Maybe if Denver had possession, it might have counted. Great play by Brad Smith, but unfortunately there was no time left in the shot clock.
That's what I was trying to figure out, was Denver ever credited with having possession? I don't think they ever had it, so I don't think they should have been credited with that, but I was going to keep my eye on the clock to see if the officials ever reset. Instead, with less than 7 to play in the first quarter, it's still 1-0 Duke as the rain starts to come down a little harder here at Koskinen Stadium. Alex Simmons. Jack Falk, the transfer from Virginia, bodies him up. Dwinell against Leischau. McCone now. Peter Welch, the long stick for the Blue Devils. Nice pass across. Upgren down to his knees. What a save.
Key to the game right there. One-on-one with Upgren on the backside, and he shuts the door. Unbelievable save by Upgren.
I think it was Ellis Geis. Had a hat trick in his college debut. Another failed clear, though, for the Blue Devils. Only so many times you can ask Turner Upgren to make these saves, and for your defense to continue to get stops against an offense as potent as Denver's. You expected to see some fireworks today, but it's interesting thus far, players versus weather, perhaps weather winning at this point.
Yeah, again, we saw this last time we were here with the High Point game. It's the same thing. These guys are still trying to feel out the rules, feel out the weather, feel out the game and the flow. Right now you can tell definitely guys trying to figure it out.
That was another one that was blocked before it ever got to Upgren. And Turner wins the race, and so the Blue Devils once again will try to clear. Only 3 for 6 thus far, 50%. Not nearly good enough, you would think, if you're Coach John Danowski.
Upgren is doing a great job of keeping these guys in the game. Now he's just going to have to run and quarterback this clear and get this ball into the Duke's offensive end.
Upgren sends that one ahead. Smith able to catch it on the fly. Brad Smith working against Dylan Johnson. Honorable mention All-American last year and a 4-year starter as each team gets its personnel set. Here's Bedour, who has the only goal of the game. More than 10 minutes into this one. 1-0 Blue Devils. Kyle Smith stands in his way. Bedour beats him. Draws the slide. Manown now in behind the cage. Head fake from Lowry, and that one slips out of the stick a bit. Backed up, though, easily by Robertson.
Denver's doing a really good job of getting the ball out of the initial Dodgers stick. They're sliding to that initial dodge, forcing Duke to move it and potentially, again, cause a turnover here just by the passing with the sticks the way they are, and Duke doing a great job of getting the ball back inside with only 5 seconds left in the shot clock here. Denver defense coming up with another big-time stop.
Ledman, the freshman, just rolls that one into the corner, so another stop on defense. That first key to the game has been the story thus far. Defense and goalie play. So Ledman tried that jump shot, but it was a nice job by Denver to kind of get into the body, didn't allow him to get his hands free.
Denver's defense obviously a little bit more organized and forcing bad shots by Duke, and Upgren on the other side has been saving this Duke defense. I mean, Denver getting some pretty good looks at the cage. He's coming out. He's stealing possessions by winning ground balls and chasing it to the end line. He's feeling it right now.
This close D trio for Denver started all 17 games together last year. You're a former defender. You know how much that chemistry means between those three guys. That one is skipped past Upgren, but it's backed up by Rattan.
Yeah, Coach Tierney really gave those guys a lot of credit. He said, you're going to watch them do things and slide and talk on the field that I really can't take credit for, which is pretty impressive with a coach of his stature to, give credit like that to his D guys. But these guys are fantastic. They know where each other are at all times. They're talking about zones and running different looks to mess up this Duke defense, and they've gotten the best of this Duke offense thus far, even though the score is 1-0.
25 on the shot clock. Jackson up top, and Rapphorst. Those two battle it out. Now 10 to go. In behind the cage, Rattan trying to dodge against Lindsay. Walker couldn't quite scoop that one up. Instead, it's John Pendergast who has an extra gear. Gets it ahead to Brad Smith. Perhaps a bit unsettled. Robertson decides to wait for reinforcements. Getting down toward 2.5 to play in the first quarter. Seau, Quigley, Walsh out there for Duke.
There we see, again, Denver get late in the shot clock, try to force it inside to Ethan Walker. He's a guy who Duke needs to know where he is at all times. He can really light up the scoreboard, on ball, off ball. He kind of does it all, and him and Giles Harris are going to be a great battle to watch all day.
Danny Logan forces Riley Walsh to give it up. Coach Tierney thinks Logan might very well be the best short stick D midi in America. Quigley lost his footing temporarily and then lost the ball permanently. Back the other way comes Matt Neufeld, the transfer from your alma mater.
Another big stop by the Denver defense. They have really put their mark on this game, and you can see, normally Denver's known for their... Oh!
Didn't even really feel like the possession had started. And there is Logan. I was about to mention back on the defensive end how he played as an offensive midfielder.
Denver goal scored by
Really
number 19,
just kind of
Damon
sacrificed for this team, deciding to play defense, but they'll let him play offense, and that's why. He ties it up at 1 with 1:41 to go. Low-scoring affair here in bad weather in Durham, North Carolina. Logan answers Cameron Bedour's goal. A top 10 matchup living up to the billing thus far here in Koskinen. Tied at 1 here at Koskinen Stadium. Back to the face-off X we go, where Brett Bowes is 2 for 2 thus far this afternoon. He's been so quick. The wing play really hasn't been a part of either of the first 2 face-offs. He's won it initially right away. Had the first shot of the game 7 seconds in, won it to himself. Upgren made the save. It's been back and forth, turnovers, some problems in the clear. Good defense, solid goalie play, and just 2 goals, 1 apiece thus far with less than 2 to play here in the first.
Yeah, I think the story of the game right now, I mentioned this earlier, but these defenses are really doing a great job, especially the Denver defense. And if these guys can get out and run, this Duke team might be in for a long day.
Stick was knocked out of the hand of Bowes, but there is Logan once again. He's got a goal in this game already. As you can see, plays the face-off wing. Tremendous short stick D-Mitty. You can see why Coach Bill Tierney talked about him as being one of their most valuable players. Pioneers looking for their first lead of the afternoon. Here is Sullivan working against Prendergast. Thought about pulling the trigger. Draws the slide from Welch. Hanna, 4 points against Air Force. Coach Tierney says Jack Hanna is their most improved player this year. Working against the shorty. 42 seconds left in the first quarter. About a 15-second differential between the shot and game clock. Hanna now initiating. Pass up top, winding, firing, and the save again by Upgren. That one was off the stick of Geist, who had a hat trick in his college debut against Air Force. Welch scoops up the ground ball.
Another big save by Upgren gives Duke an opportunity to score here with 10 seconds left in the quarter.
Got to go quick. Robertson in behind the cage looking for Smith. Just 5 seconds to play. That ball beyond Garrett Ledman, and that is how things will end. So through 15 minutes, just 1 goal for each team. Turner Upgren already with 5 saves for the Blue Devils, keeping Duke in this one. Back with plenty more from Rainy Durham in a moment. Seconds away from the start of the second quarter. Turner Upgren, the senior, has come up big for the Blue Devils. I mentioned on the other side of the break, 5 saves already. First chance to start for him on a consistent basis. His first career start against Furman in the season opener, just with the doctor ordered for the Blue Devils. They've had trouble on the clear, just 6 of 9 thus far, but despite giving up additional possessions to the Pioneers, he's been able to hold them to 1 goal.
Yeah, he's doing it all again. He's coming out, making plays, and picking up ground balls. He's trying to orchestrate the clear. He's on track for 20 saves this game, and he's really keeping this Blue Devil defense in check.
Brett Bowes is keeping the ball in Denver's possession. Every time there's been a face-off, the Pioneers have come away with it one way or another. So another chance for Denver to take the lead. Sullivan to initiate against Prendergast.
Interesting tactic here. Duke is allowing Denver to sweep across the top and maybe get to their strength, which is, again, creating some confusion with the Denver offense. They're still struggling, trying to get a better look at the cage and not allowing Denver to go down the alleys here is really forcing this Denver offense to make some adjustments here.
Giles Harris into Sullivan. Those two meet up once again. Here's Hanna against the shorty. Less than 15 seconds on the shot clock. Hanna gets his hands free and slides that one past Upgren. 2-1 Pioneers. Hanna just fought through a couple of defenders there and found himself wide open eventually in front of the net.
Yeah, Ryan, you mentioned earlier how Coach Tierney just loves his game and how he's progressed. He's just playing like a senior, and there you can see Jack just asserting his will on that Duke defense. He absolutely just gets his man topside, sees that the slide is just showing, hesitates and attacks the middle and puts that ball low and away to the far pipe. It looked like there were 3 Duke guys around there, and Hanna just buried that to the bottom corner. What a great shot.
Hanna only played in 3 games a year ago. That's his 2nd goal this season. Bowes wins the faceoff once again. Second time he's tried to score directly off a faceoff. This time, though, the Pioneers able to retain possession.
Here's where Duke can get themselves into trouble. Obviously, they're starting to score, and if they're playing make-it-take-it lacrosse, it's going to be a long day for this Duke defense in this situation. Upgren's going to need the guys in front of him to give him a little bit of help, slide with body. You see them getting organized, trying to get to matchups here. They look a little bit out of sorts here. Duke needs to settle in.
Simmons, Dwinell, and McCone out there for the Pioneers. Here is Dwinell. Got a really good first step, according to Coach Tierney, working against the shorty. Now Walker and Giles Harris. Walker skips that one. A turnover for Denver.
Caused turnover by Giles Harris. Right as Walker was getting ready to throw, he checks his bottom hand, which forces that ball to go out of bounds. Great look in Upgren with an awesome look to the corner. Looked like Denver might have switched to a little 10-man zone here in their ride, and Upgren found that opening in the far corner for the easy clear.
It was Manown on the receiving end despite dropping the ball. Still able to settle things in fairly easily for the Blue Devils. Sayal, Walsh, and Quigley out there now as the midfield line.
Duke's going to need Sayal here to maybe make us another senior play on this end. This is a game where you need your seniors and leaders to step up and make plays, because obviously this is a big stage here, top 10 matchup. And here we see Brad Smith, the senior, trying to get it going for the Duke offense.
Smith fakes the shot. Blue Devils haven't scored since 11:37 was left in the first quarter. And now Smith and Walsh can't connect on the pass near midfield.
Back-to-back turnovers by some All-Americans. You can tell the conditions are definitely playing a factor with the sticks. It's okay. We got a lot of game left, and it's an exciting game as these guys start to settle in and the speed and tempo starts to pick up.
Already the 7th turnover for Duke here in just over 1 quarter.
Duke's defense here, they're taking a short stick D-midi and sliding him down to an attackman, which is allowing Duke to have 2 poles against this dynamic Denver midfield. Definitely helping them with some matchup problems. Denver really doing a good job of working the ball around and getting to the middle of the field.
Rutan beats Lindsey. Rathhorst has to slide. Fowler negates Hanna. Giles Harris and Walker. Goal line extended. That battle continues. JT Giles Harris, brother linebacker on the Duke football team, into the NFL draft. Joe Giles Harris. Lindsey forcing Geist to give it up. Giles Harris now working against Sullivan, and another save by Upgren. The outlet pass to man Rathhorst, but he's got room to run onto it. 10.5 to play. Blue Devils in transition. Here is Smith. Thought about the shot. Instead of jump. Ooh. Shot attempt that time. Robertson with the backup.
That was a big-time save by Upgren, but credit goes to Giles Harris there on that last possession. He was bodying up Ethan on the wing, made a slide, caused a turnover. He's doing it all right now. He's playing a great game.
Settled possession now for the Blue Devils. Plenty of time on the shot clock. 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and for the first time, Duke trails here at Koskinen Stadium here this afternoon.
The challenge for Duke right now is there's some big graphics going up on the scoreboard as they haven't won a face-off, and the Denver goalie hasn't actually made a save yet. This Duke offense needs to get some better shots on cage and actually make this goalie make saves if they want to be successful on offense.
Lowry bothered by a combination of Logan and Gaines. That pass is bounced toward Robertson.
Yeah, not ideal situation if you're Denver looking at the goalie save percentage right now, but seeing the shots on cage, Coach Orson and Coach Tierney must be feeling pretty happy about the situation they're in right now.
Pioneers held Air Force without a goal in the first and fourth quarters. Their only win of the season. They only allowed 14 shots that entire game. Duke only has 4 so far.
And you look at that game and the stat line and even the Air Force team, they're a very good team. They're very capable. I just think that speaks volumes to how good this Denver team is. And again, it's mostly considered on the offense, how crafty and how great their guys are on offense. This defense is fantastic, and we're watching them put on a show in a clinic right now.
I could not agree with you more. So much has been talked about their offense, and of course Trevor Baptiste, but I think a completely underrated part of this program has been what they've done defensively. You're talking about giving up 14 shots when teams are probably going to average around 50 now with the shot clock being instituted. There are more possessions. That's just an outrageously low number for not an upstart program, as that one finds the top corner, and the flag is down. Ted Sullivan makes it 3-1.
There we see this Duke defense has been forcing Denver to the middle of the field all game, and it was just a matter of time before they break through and realize that they just need to start to hit some shots here from the middle of the field to really stretch this Duke defense. And here we see that is an absolute snipe to the top right corner. That was even stick side high from 15 yards, and you see Van Rathhorst come in high and late and get the penalty, but man, that was an incredible shot. Now they play N1 lacrosse. They're able to get the penalty. They're facing off, which they haven't lost yet, going to play man up. Denver's man up is lethal and not a thing I would want to see right now if I'm this Duke defense giving up a couple goals in a row.
Jordan Ginder out to take the draw against Brett Bowes for the first time. 3-on-2 at the face-off circle in essence for the Pioneers. Danny Logan by himself here on the wing, closest to us. Be a great time for the Blue Devils to win their first face-off of the day. Ginder comes on and wins the draw for Duke. How about that? The freshman providing a spark. First time that Bowes has been stymied, and now the Blue Devils with an opportunity maybe to kill off the man-down situation just by winning the face-off.
What an unbelievable play. You're seeing Denver start to take all this momentum. They score. They're going man up. Duke shuts the door. They win the face-off. That might be, again, another turning point that we look at here later in the game if Duke can kill this penalty.
Question is, can the Blue Devils hang on to the ball? 8 turnovers here in the early going with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. As you know, though, sometimes it just takes one play. Maybe that's what they needed. You certainly expect to see 99 out there. Maybe he's... Face-off is such an interesting thing. Certain styles, right? Guys, it's a good matchup maybe, and what one guy's trying to do, the other guy is good at going up against. Maybe Jordan Ginder can provide something for Brett Bowes to think about. Obviously, Duke is just going to walk the ball around here. 10 seconds to go on the penalty to Cade Van Raphorst.
Yeah, this face-off battle, I mean, that even if it's just one or two here and there, just to give your offense a little life, give your defense a little breathing room. This Duke defense is playing a lot on their back end here and hoping that the Duke offense can now shorten this gap here with on the scoreboard and allow them to play a little bit more loose.
Walsh draws 3 defenders, tries to skip it all the way to Brad Smith. Instead, it's intercepted easily by Neufeld. Now the Pioneers in transition. Bounce toward Upgren in behind the cage. Backed up, though, by the Pioneers. It was Kyle Smith in transition, the defensive midfielder. It couldn't convert there. So Duke does well to kill off the penalty, but then the 9th turnover. That time in a settled possession.
There was short time on the clock, and I think it was the right look. It was just poor execution, whether it's, he didn't get enough on his pass or it slipped out of his stick. Brad Smith was wide open up top, and I think he had the right look. It's just poorly executed, so we'll chalk that up to the weather.
Colton Jackson with Terry Lindsay watching him. In behind it goes to Rattan. Leishau. Strong D-midi for the Blue Devils. Upgren is there to lend some support, and he comes away with the ground ball. Good work by Leishau. And then Upgren to clean up the mess. Now the Blue Devils will try to clear.
Upgren with an amazing play. Starts with Leishau getting the ball on the ground. Now we see him up and running here, but Upgren with an incredible ground ball with the goalie stick, getting the ball up and out. And here we see Duke running. Brad Smith. Oh.
Smith. Looked like Reddy might have gotten a piece of that one. Less than 6 to play here in the second quarter. Blue Devils look as though maybe they've got a little bit more energy here in the last couple of minutes.
Definitely starting to feel a little bit more rhythm here with the game, getting up in transition, settled offensive looks. Really starting to see these guys play well.
Ledman looking for and finding Manon. Brad Smith, plenty of time! And he makes it 3-2. Skip pass finds its target that time. And Smith finishes for Duke's second goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, we were just talking about it before. Denver running in transition. Now we see Duke in an unsettled situation. Late sub. They do a little exchange on the backside. And there we see Brad Smith hammer that lefty. Great job by Duke finding Brad Smith. Time and room lefty, 5-hole. Great finish. Duke pulls within 1.
"15 universities, 1,500 miles, and excellence everywhere you look. All eyes on us. Let's all rise up. All eyes on us. Let's all rise up. Let's all rise up.
Switch to Fios and get entertainment delivered to your home like no one else. Because Fios is a 100% fiber optic network. You'll get the fastest internet available and Fios TV One with an advanced voice remote. And now we'll give you a Netflix premium plan for a full year, so you can stream your favorites in 4K on 4 devices at once. Already have Netflix? We'll cover the cost for 1 year. So switch for $79.99 a month with a 2-year agreement and get Fios Gigabit connection with TV and phone with a 2-year price guarantee. 100% fiber optic network, 100% phenomenal.
3-2 Denver. 5:27 to go in the first half. Blue Devils have struggled a bit with turnovers. Both teams, though, have played very well defensively. Duke on this last goal, turning defense into offense. It all started with Blake Leishau forcing the turnover against Colin Rattan. Turner Upgren, you'll see him join the fray here in just a second. Blue Devils able to clear. And now Brad Smith, what a good sign for the Blue Devils. First goal of the season for him. You and I were talking during the break. He's a guy that's having to alter his style just a little bit coming off the injury.
Yeah, and we're going to see, obviously, huge turnover by Leishau to get the ball back down to Duke offense. And now we're going to see Duke play a little unsettled transition offense here as we see them get their Denver team hung up in the subbing game. Brad Smith backside buried that 5-hole. Great job by the Duke offense in the transition.
Back to live action here. Pioneers once again with possession.
last time we saw Denver on the offensive end, they're trying to take advantage of the Duke shortying one of their attackmen, dodge behind the goal with no success. Now we're going to see what else they can provide. Big pickoff by Van Raphorst. Huge play by Duke defense. Another stop coming out of their back end.
One of the captains of the team, second-team preseason All-American, here again. Works away from pressure. Ball is slapped out of his stick. Good work there by Dylan Johnson.
That is a big-time check. These guys are really starting to play and feel it right now. That was awesome.
A couple of All-Americans matched up there, and Johnson and Smith. Johnson, honorable mention All-American last year. I think both teams, we talked about the weather. I think both teams are starting to settle in here just a bit, understanding the conditions, maybe get some jitters out of the way. This is first-ranked matchup for the Blue Devils this year. Certainly a step up in competition if you're Denver. Long road trip. But working the kinks out there in the first maybe 20 minutes or so. High-quality lacrosse here. The last few minutes, a spin move from Simmons. Falk stays with him step for step.
That was great defense there by Falk, shutting the door on Denver, trying to get down the wing there. Awesome D.
Here's Ethan Walker. Welch keeps an eye on him. Scoop back up by Geis. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Rattan in behind the cage. Geis now. 5 seconds. Winding and firing from distance, top shelf, Colton Jackson. Drops a bomb with 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Assisting on the goal, number 18.
I was just getting ready to say that's an ambitious look for Denver here. You know, short time, it's obviously one of those things. You got to step in, you got to make a play. He might be at 18, 19 yards here when he lets that thing go, and I know Upgren's looking there like he wants to have that shot back. What an absolute rocket from almost 20 yards. What an impressive shot. Puts Denver up 4-2.
That is just an outrageous shot. From that distance in these conditions. Wow. 4-2 Denver. On that note, first of the game for Jackson.
Brian, big win. Duke wins another faceoff.
Yeah, Ginder has come on. He's won 2 out of 3. Before him, Duke hadn't won a faceoff all afternoon.
Wow, Duke really.
You were hyped about that, man. You hit
up.
my arm. You loving that. 99's coming on. He's woken you up for sure. Maybe woken up the Blue Devils just a bit as well.
And hey, this might be the energy they need and the plays we were talking about. You know, yes, Denver scored a couple, but Duke's now allowed to come back, and they know that they can potentially play and make a mistake and not have it be the end of the world because they can actually win a faceoff. Awesome job. Oh,
how about that work once again by Logan? He's been terrific. Quigley comes up with the ground ball. Walsh is down to the ground. Helter-skelter here. Robertson, plenty of time. And the late check forces that shot wide. No backup for the Blue Devils.
The pace is fantastic right now. These guys are getting up and down, and I love this Denver defense and how they're able to extend and put the ball on the ground, forcing Duke to really take care of the ball.
Robertson maybe waiting a half second too long there to wind and fire. So now it's Geis. Flips it up top to Jack Hanna. Hanna with a goal earlier. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. 4-2 the score.
Duke defense has done a pretty good job of mixing up their looks. You're watching them, again, try and force guys now, maybe not letting them go to the middle and sliding, and here we see them get the ball on the ground again. Denver's offense not look confused here, but it looks like they're just waiting for somebody to step up and make a play minus the 20-yard shots from the cage.
Giles Harris and Van Raphorst, just a momentary miscommunication there, and there was an opening for the Pioneers to take advantage of. Pass couldn't quite connect. Now we'll have a timeout for Coach Bill Tierney with exactly 90 seconds to play here in the first half. And 25 seconds on the shot clock.
Sometimes as a defense, the worst thing you can do is put the ball on the ground. Here we see Denver scrambling after they get the ball on the ground. And here we see Duke pushing in transition. Great opportunity in front of the cage. Might have needed to throw that one more to Brad Smith on the backside where Robinson gets back checked there by the Denver defense. Again, you see Coach Orson right now talking to these guys in the huddle. He has done an amazing job with this group. They're stretching out in transition, getting the ball on the ground, and now we're going to see on the other end here the Duke defense and Coach Caputo and Coach Janowski trying to get their troops in the right position to make plays on the defensive end.
What do you think both these coaches are talking about here in the huddle? Late clock situation, still 25 seconds left, but there needs to be a bit of a sense of urgency if you're Denver. And walk us through offensively, defensively, what you expect to see here. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised for Duke maybe to come out in the zone or shut somebody just to jam up Denver's look here. You know, with 25 seconds left, there's not much you're going to be able to do if your initial play or plan out of the timeout doesn't work. Now, if you're Denver, you're also saying, hey, short time in the half. If they get the ball down on the ground, do not give up any transition. Get back in the hole. Make sure they don't give up any easy goals if they do turn it over or the shot clock runs out.
If all else fails, you can just get it to Colton Jackson from 18 yards out, and he can just rifle one on the top shelf again. That seemed to work last time. Just run 23 seconds off the clock and hand it off to him. Here he is with the ball now.
Yeah, I see Duke right now. Looks like they're in more of a little bit of a zone look, shutting the shorties. We see all four poles up top in a little diamond, and the Duke short sticks making it really hard. As we see them get the ball on the ground and force a big turnover here. Now they're going to be out and run.
Yeah, it looked like Denver tried to force it despite Duke shutting that off. Pioneers still tried to force that ball in there. Instead of turnover, and now the Blue Devils with just over a minute left try to pull back within one.
Great job by the Duke defense and coaching staff by mixing it up and really forcing Denver to force a look there. Now we see them able to operate just under a minute left in the half.
Yeah, Duke can hold for the final shot. 45 seconds to play. On comes Brodeur, who scored the first goal for Duke and the first goal of the game. Gave the Blue Devils a 1-0 lead.
Duke was really successful last time when they kept Welsh in the field. You can see him in the top of your screen. He's kind of keeping an offensive midi on, which allows Duke now to play 5-on-5. This is where Duke had an opportunity last time. They exchanged two guys, and Brad Smith was wide open on the backside. Now we see Duke getting ready to invert and bring one of their short stick middies behind the cage. Guys up top are talking. Let's see if Duke can take advantage of this here.
Lowry against Logan. Here is Welch. 8 seconds to play in the half. Brodeur maybe has to go one-on-one here. Draws the slide. 3 seconds to play in the half. Brodeur has to let one go, and time is going to run out. Pioneers hold on defense, and we head to halftime. 4-2.
Denver 4.
Big time stop by the Denver defense again. Didn't even able to get a shot on cage. This Denver defense is impressive, and they're locking down the door here on Duke's offense in the first half.
No bigger shot than this one from Colton Jackson. Top shelf. Give the Pioneers a 4-2 lead.
"15 universities, 1,500 miles, and excellence everywhere you look.
All eyes on us. Let's all rise up. All eyes on us. Let's all rise up. Let's all rise up.
I've got to tell you something important. It's not going to be easy. Quicksilver earns you unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. Actually, that's super easy. My bad.
Denver 4, Duke 2 here at halftime inside Koskinen Stadium. In just over 6 hours, the Blue Devils will face North Carolina State on the hardwood. For more on the Blue Devils, we toss it to an excerpt from the ESPN Plus series, Earn Everything.
The Duke Brotherhood was given a name in the last few years, but it's always been there. And a big part of it is the fact that I've been here so long, almost 4 decades now. So how do you bring a 4-decade-old family together. A big part of it is that all my assistants are former players, so that helps in keeping connected with the former players.
You know, you turn it into a hashtag, it becomes a thing. So now it's a hashtag, our guys use it, but we truly own the word brotherhood because we really do love one another, and the old guys that have played long ago, you know, we want them back, want them to be around to truly discuss these guys, what the brotherhood is all about, and it's about the blood, the tears that you've put in to becoming a Duke basketball player.
People who aren't part of this program, you hear that, you're like, oh, brotherhood, here we go, brotherhood. But no, I mean, I went to Duke. I played for Coach K. I know what it means to wear the jersey. So I can help the player on a different level because I've experienced a lot of the things that, you know, they are going through or probably will go through at some point.
Boom. That's that screen music right there. Yes, sir.
And to help them, they first have to trust you.
We want our former players all the time to feel like this is a second home for them, you know, where they can be them. You know, they don't have to be one of the key players on the Boston Celtics. You know, they can come back and be Jason or Kyrie and want them to know that we're connected with them. We don't want anything from them. We just want them to always be a part of us.
Coach K, from the beginning, you know, had this vision of having a program where guys came in, we did our thing while we were here, and we could always come back. And that's exactly what this is. And, you know, it's real. When I see guys coming up every year, some new faces, and see them succeed. And it all started here.
I got a little bit of break in my schedule, so I wanted to come back, you know, check out some of the practices, how the workouts are going, and back here to work out for my own too, get in the weight room with Coach Well and back on the court with some of the coaches.
I'm curious to see what you think about it. And it's been great for me. Duke has been a part of my life since I was 17, and it continues to be a part of my life. It really is a brotherhood.
It's an honor, honestly. You know, you grow up watching those guys. You look up to them. You're just like, you know, I want to be like that when I get older. So, you know, for him to come back, you know, watch us practice, even play with us, you know, is an honor.
All these years later, guys still want to come back here to Duke, and knowing that, you know, when you leave here, that doesn't necessarily mean your time here is done.
Yeah, I never knew certain things. One was my former players would not only be assistants for me, but would become some of my best friends. It's made my 44 years in coaching a heck of a lot better and more fulfilled.
Hey, Portal called Dad? What's up, buddy? I'm down here. I'm trying to put together this playhouse. So what time's the little fella wake up? 20 minutes. Very helpful, Dad. Very helpful.
T-Mobile will do the math for you. Join T-Mobile and get 2 phones plus 2 unlimited plans for just $100 a month.
About 3 minutes until the start of the third quarter as we take a look at the highlights from the first 30 minutes for the Blue Devils. 10 first-half turnovers. Call it the weather. Call it Denver's defense. Let's give them some credit as well. The Blue Devils just not sharp in the early going.
Yeah, Denver's defense extending, pressing, getting out to hands, forcing these bad passes here by the Duke offense, and you can see it's really hard to pass the ball when you're fading away from the cage.
Luckily for the Blue Devils, Turner Upgren was pretty good there in the first half. Half a dozen saves, 5 of them, I think, coming in the first quarter, really kept them involved and in this one through the first 15, 20 minutes or so.
Save after save after save, you watch him really put the team on his back, and then Denver starts to work their way into the Duke defense.
Yeah, the Pioneers started to find their rhythm offensively. Just a couple of outrageous shots. Here's one in particular. Ted Sullivan finding the top corner, drew a penalty after the fact. Here are the stats. Blue Devils You see there 7 shots. Only 3 of them have been on goal. 2 of them have gone in. But it's just been a stifling Denver defense. Duke has not gotten untracked offensively to this point. Some inroads, though, into the face-off game. Jordan Ginder has come on and won a couple for the Blue Devils against Brett Bowes. We'll see if that continues in the third quarter. A lot to come here from Koskinen Stadium.
Motorcycles need riders, and riders need insurance. Geico Motorcycles. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
First tattoo?
Yeah.
Relax, amigo. It's gonna look okay.
Only okay?
No worries, boss. I'm one of the tattoo artists in the city.
You mean one of the best tattoo artists in the city, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to draw it first?
Stay in your lane, bro.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5GE. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Ready for the start of the second half. Under the lights, in the rain, here at Koskinen Stadium. Pioneers looking to go 2-0 on the season. 11-4 the win over Air Force. Blue Devils a 17-9 win to start the season at Furman. 13-9 loss. You and I were on the call for that game. Obviously a disappointing result for the Blue Devils. Rebounded with a 7-goal win over Jacksonville, although that one was tied at halftime. Blue Devils a 9-2 run in quarters 3 and 4 to distance themselves from John Galloway's squad. Task at hand here, I would think if you're Duke, limit turnovers, possess the ball, care for the ball. If you were the Pioneers, Joe, what are you trying to do to try to extend this 2-goal lead?
Key for the Denver offense right now is Duke's throwing a couple different looks at them, and it's really confused their offense, and they're seeing guys, try and make plays and get late in the shot clock, and they look a little bit unorganized. So the challenge for those guys is to adapt to what Duke is doing defensively, make those adjustments, and potentially, use some big little behind or some pick play with the short stick D midi that they're bringing behind the cage.
Ginder back out there against Brett Bowes. Ginder 2 for 3 thus far since coming on. Bowes, though, 6 for 8 in total. Another win for Ginder. But it's turned over to the Pioneers on the violation.
You're still feeling pretty good if you're Duke, because at least the ball didn't come out the front and get another fast break. A couple shots in a row there by Bowes. If he buries those 2, this game is now 6-4. Luckily for Duke, he didn't, and we're still at a 4-2 game.
Here's Hanna against Brendergast. We've had 6 goals this game, 6 different goal scorers. Brendergast picks the pocket of Hanna. Welch tries to come up with the ground ball, does the second time. Now Duke will try to clear, just 9 for 13 in the first half, but it looks like this one will be successful.
Now we got numbers here for Duke.
And Raphorst has that one checked out of his stick by Neufeld. Smith tries to gather in the ground ball. Instead, it's Kyle Smith. So the Blue Devils nearly all the way there. It's that final pass. Results in another turnover.
Frantic
How about
play.
right back the other way? Brad Smith, the All-American, 1-on-5. And then he waits for some help.
End-to-end action. A lot of turnovers being caused right now by defenders. A lot of ground balls. And I think the first half keys were defensively. Who's going to get stops? Second half keys, we're going to see who wins the ground ball battle, because right now that's going to make a difference in this game. Whoever's going to get those tough ground balls and win those 50-50 situations, one, they're going to have more possessions, but 2, it's going to take the life out of the other team.
Walsh now. It's Sullivan. Watching him. Now Smith. Bradley Walsh. Robertson able to gather that one in. Skips it up top. Seau, now Quigley. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. 30 seconds. Manown, relatively quiet today, draws the double. Smith can't handle that pass. And then the ground ball is picked up by Gaines. So 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for the Blue Devils here in quarter number 3.
Denver's defense is doing an outstanding job. They're sliding really quick and forcing Duke to make decisions with the bad footing and the bad sticks, potentially with the weather. So hats off again to that defense. They're doing a great job of shutting the door on this Duke offense.
So here's Colton Jackson, two-time honorable mention All-American. Got the ball back in his stick now. First team All-Big East last year. A couple of goals, couple of assists in this game a year ago. Leishau and Sullivan, we've called that pair of names together a number of times today. Geist does well to keep possession in behind the cage.
This Duke defense is doing an outstanding job of taking away that left alley, forcing Denver, again, to become a little unorganized here on offense. And here's a matchup we've been talking about all day. Giles Harris has just been absolutely dominating.
Giles Harris going to town on the hands of Ethan Walker.
Here's
still no possession, so the shot clock has not reset, even if Denver was able to come up with it, which they do. And now there will be a reset of the shot clock. That's an interesting call there. We'll see if the officials reset things. They're going to at least have a conversation. It was down to about 5, and that would make, obviously, a huge difference here if there were 5 seconds or 80 seconds with which to work offensively from midfield.
Yeah, I didn't see any possession there, Ryan, and I could be wrong. But I think that they're going to fix it here and maybe looks like they're putting 13 seconds back.
I don't know where that number comes from, to be honest. It's funny because this is one of those situations both coaches are upset. Coach John Danowski thinks it should be 5. Coach Bill Tierney may be arguing that it should be restarted from the top. All that's right now, if you're two referees, look at these guys right now. You're having to yell at and deal with 796 wins, 10 national championships. These guys have been around the block. We'll see what we land. So it's 13 seconds it is. Denver's going to have the ball near midfield.
Really glad you mentioned that. That's a tough situation for those officials to be in.
Five seconds. Hanna fires one toward Upgren. It's wide. Pioneers 2 seconds. Probably just roll it into the corner. And they do. So Duke gets the stop defensively.
Ultimately, that Denver team was able to win possession off of that 50-50 ground ball, but great, again, Duke defense coming up with a big stop here to get the ball out of their end and let this Duke offense go back to work.
Long pass from Fowler finds Manown. Seen that play a couple of times.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Ryan, it looks like Denver is sliding a defender up to help them with the midfield, and it's called a 10-man ride. So Denver mixing it up a little bit with the ride, forcing Duke to operate with less of a shot clock and almost forcing Duke to make that long pass in hopes that they might turn it over.
Yeah, so Duke finally settled into its offensive possession, nearly half the shot clock gone, and how about that check from Dylan Johnson, just removing Cameron Baddour from the play, and then here is Johnson in the open field. Dylan Johnson steps into a bouncer and gives the Pioneers a 5-2 lead. Well, that's all Dylan Johnson right there. The check from behind against Baddour. The 70-yard sprint and the finish.
What a great heads-up play here by Johnson. Gets the ball on the ground, understands that his teammates are going to pick the ball up, and he's not letting anybody take that one from him. He pulls up from 15 and puts a great bouncer off hip on Upgren. Not much you can do there if you're Upgren, and what a great play by the senior. Getting his team fired up, what a big play by Dylan Johnson.
There you see first goal of the season. Didn't have a goal last year, just 2 shots all season long. In 17 games as a defenseman, guy with a pole in the hands, that's a pretty cool feeling right there.
Mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Coach Tierney said you're going to watch these defenders do really cool things on defense. And there you saw Johnson just a double team, get the ball on the ground, run without it. And a phenomenal finish. And here, a costly turnover here.
Wow, somehow Fowler just able to get a stick on it as the ball almost skipped by. It's still up in the air. Giles Harris didn't know where it was. Ginder did well to win the faceoff, and then Fowler was running off for a substitution. Down goes the official, by the way, on the near side. Finally, Walker comes away with it. So Ginder wins the faceoff, and then a miscommunication between him and Jack Fowler, who was running off the field. Kind of a crazy scramble for the ball. That is a little bit of I think, kind of a microcosm of what we've seen today. It has not been a clinic for either side. It's just kind of gritty. Just get some stuff done out there in these conditions here this afternoon.
Yeah, Coach Stanowski is over here on the sideline talking to Ginder, explaining him first which goal they're actually attacked. Oh, my goodness.
In the meantime, while that explanation is going on, Ted Sullivan becomes the first multi-goal scorer for Denver here this afternoon. That makes it 6-2. To that point, 5 Pioneer goals, 5 different scorers, but Sullivan, who didn't play against Duke last year, a much improved player, just like Jack Hanna. Second of the day, half a dozen for Denver here at Koskinen Stadium.
Motorcycles need riders, and riders need insurance. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Discussion ongoing in the Duke huddle. Blue Devils trail by 4 here with 9:34 to play in the third quarter. Take a look at another turnover that leads to a goal. Duke has 14 turnovers on the afternoon. And here's the end of that play.
Duke has been doing a great job all day of forcing Denver to the middle of the field from that alley, and I think that's why we're watching Denver run by a defender, no help whatsoever. There's a reason they were keeping these guys out of the alley and never seen Denver make Duke pay.
Sullivan, 8 goals a season ago, now with 3 this year. So Duke has done a much better job on the faceoff as Ginder wins that one as well, and then takes a glove and stick to the face. It's eventually turned over. Reddy is out there dealing with Robertson, scoops it one-handed to Matt Neufeld. So that was another face-off won by Ginder, but everybody just sort of collapsing on him from the wings. Denver's got to get the ball over here in a couple of seconds, just kind of a Hail Mary play. It ends up in the stick of Upgren. 20 seconds to get to midfield. Pioneers didn't do it.
Great job by the Duke attack there, forcing the turnover in the ride. Upgren again with another ground ball to get the defense able to clear here.
So here's Fowler, first year as a starter in close for Duke. Upgren over the top to Jake Seau.
Both teams doing a really good job of shortening the shot clock by riding and forcing Duke to make extra passes, Denver to make extra passes. It's a lot more difficult to operate and set up your offense with 60 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's Brad Smith has a goal today, his first of the season.
Good matchup here for Duke. If you got 30 seconds, look there for them to attack this one.
It's an important possession for Duke, I think. Come up with a goal here, try to settle things down just a touch.
Every time you see Duke potentially have a step or a look at the cage, you see Denver's defense just right there with an answer, whether it's a double team or a cross check to put the ball on the ground. They slide their approaching hands. Great job of this defense.
Seau, a bouncer, and that one just sort of skids by Reddy, who I think fell back on his heels just a bit. Shot clock was winding down, and Jake Seau just puts everything he had into that one. Kind of an odd bounce for Reddy to deal with. Certainly didn't have his footwork under him, and Duke is able to cash in.
If you're an offensive guy, it doesn't matter how the ball gets in the cage as long as it goes in. Here we're going to see Seau attack the middle of the field. Understand there's a short clock. It looks like he might have thrown the change-up screwball twister at the cage. Bounce. That might have bounced twice before it went in.
That's just judging by the reaction of Alex Reddy, that had to have taken a really weird hop. Soft turf here at Koskinen Stadium with the natural grass and all the rain that has come down here today. That just obviously looked really awkward. So 6-3, and now another face-off. Ginder and Bose. Ginder had it in the back of his stick. Scramble continues. The wing play so important in those situations, and it's Greenlee that comes up with the ground ball.
It's a big-time 50-50 win there, but Ginder doing a great job neutralizing Denver here when they were make it take it in the first half. He's done a great job, stepped in and made it at least difficult for this Denver face-off and offense to get it going here.
So the Pioneers still up by 3. 7 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Seau this season with nearly as many points as he had in all of his years combined leading up to this point.
Coach Janowski is expecting a big year out of him, and he's looking for the guys around him to help give him some play.
Oh, Walker and Van Raphorst, and the official pump faked on the flag for a second. Finally was able to grab it and toss it in the air. 6:46 to play, and we'll wait for the call. Seau on the season, just to tie a bow on that point, now has 9 points, 2 less than he had in his first 4 years on campus as we take another look.
Ethan Walker, a great job of getting underneath Van Raphorst in there. You can see in slow motion, he puts it off the short side pipe.
So it'll be a non-releasable penalty for Walker, it looks like. Might have been unsportsmanlike into the crease involving the goalie. That's a new rule as well this year. You can dive in, you just can't get into the goalie. And with Walker on, I was waiting to see who went in the penalty box. Walker's on one knee, so a man-up situation for the Blue Devils. Chance for back-to-back goals. No face-off necessary, which is even better news if you're Duke.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. 1 minute full time.
Yeah, it looks like, again, I think they called him for making contact with the goalie, which is a minute locked in, and now we're going to see Duke's man up. And something we haven't seen all day from Duke. They're going to need an answer here to shorten this lead.
Down 3 as of now. Manown, the cutting Bador. The check of his stick. Plenty of time left on the penalty and the shot clock. Manown looking for the angle. That ball is still in front of the cage. Whistle blows, and it will belong to the Pioneers.
Big time save by Reddy there, shutting the door. Joey Manown, great job getting underneath, and we're starting to see these guys get more comfortable with the dive as well.
There's a guy comfortable with the ball on his stick, Danny Logan, the one-man clear on that particular play. Still 20 seconds left to kill off, and now a flag down on the far side of the field. So all of a sudden it goes from man-up Duke to eventually, you would think, man-up Pioneers.
Yeah, it looks like Brad Smith or somebody on Duke went off sides at this point. You almost want to see them go over and try and play 7-on-6 or 8-on-6 with defense. Duke going to be man down here after Denver goes even.
So Walker steps out of the box. No worse for wear. Smith does join the play. So Duke with an extra defender. Why not? Less than 5.5 to go here in the third quarter. Hanna walking Falk in behind the cage. Here is Logan. Again, a defensive midfielder. Played offense throughout his career. Very capable. Has a goal here today. Shot clock violation as that one skipped past Turner Upgren. It'll be a man-up opportunity for Denver with 4:56 to play. Offsides Duke. Smith to serve the penalty.
We're starting to see Duke, every time they get an inch or claw back in and they get lucky, they're getting a couple lucky bounces on cage, we see them make a mental error. Going offsides in that situation when you're man up, you've got a great opportunity to score, and instead now we're turning it into a man up now for Denver. So Duke, early in the season still have a lot to work on, and we know it's a work in progress with Coach Janowski. You just think it's unfortunate to watch the mental errors play such a major factor at this point in the game.
Sullivan, only guy with more than one goal here today. 15 seconds left on the penalty. Now Walker, the look is inside. Pass could not find its target, though. Van Raphorst picks up the ground ball. Duke still a man down. Scaglione comes to the box. Smith, Walsh, Duke trying to get all of its personnel set here. Just over 4 minutes to play. Important kill of the penalty for the Blue Devils.
That's Duke getting really lucky right there. They had a wide open guy inside. Looks like it was mishandled. Big time ground ball by Van Raphorst to get it out of their end and kill the penalty. Duke still looking for someone on this offensive end with the absence of Montgomery. He's out with an injury. They were looking for guys to step up and make plays, and we're seeing Brad Smith try and put the team on his back a little bit, but with his recent injury as well, he may be playing more of an off-ball role, and I think Duke just waiting
Robertson
to find somebody.
Spins through 2 defenders, and he makes it 6-4. First time we've called Joe Robertson's name.
8 scores for Duke.
He's got 10 goals now on the season.
Robertson, great job driving low. You see Denver, that's the first time we've seen them thrown over the head, and as you can see, did not work out in their favor. Robertson hits him with the spin move, puts that ball to the far pipe lefty. What an unbelievable finish. Just at the right time when we're calling for somebody to make a play, Joe Robertson of Duke steps up and buries one lefty to shorten this lead to 2.
He becomes the 4th different goal scorer for the Blue Devils this season. Robertson, 13 hat tricks in 23 career games. That's his first of the afternoon, a guy who's having to adjust to life without Justin Gutterding. Blue Devils having to replace his 113 points from a year ago. Ginder does a nice job to just sort of escort that one over to Terry Lindsay. Jordan Ginder continues to be an elixir for the Blue Devils at the faceoff X. And now Manown goal line extended. Looking for that skip pass. It was off target. Robertson was the guy he was looking for, and another turnover at a crucial moment for the Blue Devils.
Awesome job by Ginder, like you mentioned, Ryan. Gooses the ball to his teammate. Duke runs down. They're running their transition offense. Turnover. There's every time they get their life and they start to get some legs underneath of them, they're making mental errors. And that one was the right look. Just poor execution by Duke. They really need to take advantage of the ball and maybe work the shot clock a little bit more to get possessions and shots and later in the possession here.
16 turnovers for Duke, but only 7 of them have been caused. I think to me that's a bothersome number. It means 9 different times Denver didn't necessarily force you to do something. You just kind of gave it up on your own. Here's Sullivan. Prendergast watches him.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes, too, to take a step back and understand that these guys have only played a total of 4 games this season. I mean, it's still so early. There's still so much to be done. You can, take account the weather, the scenario of Denver traveling here. I mean, all of the elements of a great game. It's just so early, and there's still so much to be learned with the rules. And great pickoff there by Van Raphorst. Huge defensive play.
Active stick for the All-American. He leads the charge the other way. Duke has scored back-to-back goals, looking to make it 3 in a row here. Turn a 4-goal deficit into just 1.
Here, Duke playing the subbing game a little bit. You'll notice Van Raphorst at the top of your screen, keeping one of Denver's offensive middies on the field, hopefully to disrupt Denver's defense that has been stifling thus far.
It's Colton Jackson that stuck out there for the Pioneers. Now Van Raphorst sprints toward midfield. Seau, the guy coming on who's got a step on his defender. Manown doing his best in a crowd to try to keep possession for Duke. It's over Brad Smith's head, though, and it's turnover number 17 for the Blue Devils.
Not much you can do there. If you're Duke, you saw Manown just get absolutely swallowed up by that Denver double team. And man, these guys on defense they're tough, they're physical, they throw lots of lumber. They're going to make you earn everything down on that end.
Nice move by Kyle Smith there to get over the midfield line with a couple of seconds to spare. Now he'll head off. A minute to play in the third quarter. About a 9-second differential between shot and game clock. I feel like I'm calling basketball sometimes with just a new part of the game I have to get used to.
It's a lot of fun, and I think it's exciting, and I know, the new generation of players and fans love the rules. It speeds it up. At this point, you look at the restraining box being as useless. Maybe there'll just be another addition next year and adding a 2-point line.
So now 20 seconds. Nice check that time from Leishau's. Had a good game for the Blue Devils. That outlet pass from Stevenson, not particularly close, but it doesn't matter as Duke's able to come up with the ground ball. Robertson forced to retreat for just a moment. Nice job there by Gaines. 12 seconds, 11, now 10 here in the third quarter. Riley Walsh for the Blue Devils. Wonder if he's aware of the clock. Walsh gets it to Smith, looking for a quick shot, and that one is skipped just wide as time expires. Headed to the fourth quarter here at Koskinen Stadium. Denver Pioneers 6, Duke Blue Devils 4. Back-to-back goals for the Blue Devils, the latest coming off the stick of Joe Robertson, ACC Offensive Player of the Week earlier this season, bringing his team that much closer here this afternoon.
These days we're all stressed. I hear you, sister. That's why I'm partnering with Cigna to remind you to go in for your annual checkup and be open with your doctor about anything you feel, physically and emotionally, body and mind.
Be the best on the battlefield with new Nerf Rival Hypnos. Switch up the strategy with the foldable stock. Relentlessly dominate reloading on the run. The all-new Nerf Rival Hypnos. Bring only the best. Nothing but Nerf.
Set for the opening face-off here of the fourth quarter. Jordan Ginder versus Brett Bowes. This has been the matchup quite a bit here since early on in the first half. Brian Smith just didn't have it today. Maybe just not a great matchup for him. But Ginder, he's 4 for 8 at this point. But even the face-offs that he's lost, they've been competitive, like that one. Earlier in the game, it was just sort of a win it out the front, transition opportunities. Now, at worst, you're giving your defense a chance to set things up a bit. This is a Denver team, speaking of defense, they were third last year in the country, allowing fewer than 8 goals a game. They're 88-6 when allowing 10 goals or less. Blue Devils, when scoring 10 goals or less, just 16-33. It's going to be hard to get to that number, that magic number of 10. 6-4 score here in the opening minute. Oh, it's a nice look inside. Walker wasn't able to come up with it. Upgren comes out of his cage.
I love that. God, he's so hungry. He is playing out of his mind. He's doing everything. Clearing the ball, chasing out end lines. He's doing a great job, and there you want to see his teammates maybe give him a little bit of help in the clear.
Terry Lindsay couldn't come up with a clear. Upgren just dropping the sledgehammer that time on the stick of Alex Simmons, but the Pioneers have the ball right back.
He's leaving his heart in the field right now. You got to give him a lot of credit for trying to get his defense organized and going here. Now we need to see them make a stop.
Sullivan, Prendergast trailing him. Up top now, Geis in a dodge against Terry Lindsay. Geis getting those right hands free. Van Raphorst came over to make life miserable. Giles Harris makes sure that Walker can't grab it before it goes out of bounds.
Great defense.
Stays with Denver, however. Double team on Walker. Plenty of time on the shot clock. The lefty shot is off of Upgren. That one caught him a bit by surprise. Still able to come up with the save. Sullivan is a bit slow getting up, jogging toward the sideline. Doesn't look like he's at 100% right now. Denver brings on Dwinell to take his spot, and now in from behind the cage, and the finish belongs to Ellis Geis as the Pioneers retake a 3-goal lead.
This goal all started with a turnover on the clear. It allowed Denver to come back down, and now we're seeing Denver start to utilize that big little, last week against Air Force, we saw Geis hit this with a backhander righty, and now this week diving, falling over lefty to the far pipe. I think, man, that's a great finish, and I know Duke and Upgren want that one back. Tough to make a play, sell out, lay on the ground, get your team the ball, to only have them come back down and score. That's tough.
6th different goal scorer for the Pioneers here this afternoon. Only Sullivan has more than one. Ginder looking for some help. Giles Harris comes up with the ground ball. He gets it to Riley Walsh. Unsettled opportunity. Walsh down to Manown. Across it goes to Robertson. was able to put it away for the Blue Devils, and so a quick answer for Duke. Back to within 2. Ginder once again winning the face-off, finding a way to get possession for his team. Might not have been the cleanest version of what he was hoping for. A little tic-tac-toe for the Blue Devils in the finish by Robertson inside.
What a great handle here in transition. Throwing the ball around the goalie, tries to jump over to avoid contact. Great job by Duke, and hats off to Ginder. If they can teach him how to handle the ball a little bit in between the lines, he's going to have a great career here at Duke.
He can't carry the ball quite like Smith can at this point in his career. Still just a freshman, though, but what he is doing is making it competitive at the X. Bose loses that one in his feet. Can't come up with the ground ball in the first try or the second. Ginder with the check, and then he's called for the push, it looks like. So Kyle Smith carries it across midfield. Welch able to check him from behind and come up with the ground ball.
Big time play by Welch.
Brad Smith now. Blue Devils trailing by 2. Another unsettled opportunity. Robertson down low, beats a couple of defenders and scores! 7-6 here at Koskinen.
Does it again. Scores for Duke.
You mentioned that the Denver goal started with a turnover before. How about this? Check by Peter Welch.
We've seen Welch do that more than once this season. Caused the turnover, able to pick his pocket. Never see Brad Smith coming down, drawing a double team, and Robertson coming across the front and absolutely burying this.
I thought it was interesting, too, that look from behind. You can see that Robertson kind of drifted in toward the cage, created a passing lane for Smith to find him, and then, of course, the finish is spectacular. So another hat trick for Robertson. Now 14 in 24 career games. You can see the life that has brought to the Duke bench. I know you're excited. Ginder and Bose back at the dot. Pioneers need a possession here. Ginder scoops it up high. Lindsay had it in his stick momentarily. Oh, what a great job by Danny Logan. Ball rolling toward the sideline, and not even the wet ground can hold that one in bounds.
Little shift in momentum here. Duke is really starting to take advantage, and you're starting to see them find their comfort zone. Chaos in the middle third of the field that has just created great opportunities in transition. Sometimes as a defense, the worst thing you can do is put the ball on the ground because it creates a lot of uncertainty in between situations, and Duke is absolutely capitalizing on those right now. Ginder, coming into this game, completely changed the tide, and he has done a great job scrapping at the face-off X, giving Duke some life.
It was a 7-0 run last year in the fourth quarter that gave Duke the win. 2-1 Blue Devils thus far, but you can just feel the momentum shifting if it hasn't already entirely shifted. Pioneers, though, still lead by 1. 7-6 is the score with plenty of time left in this one. And this is where the Pioneers have been so good, is settled defensively. Duke has really not been able to get much at all. It's been in transition. It's been off a face-off. It's been off a turnover. Can Denver continue to have its way with Duke offensively? That one is caught by Robertson in behind. Walsh couldn't come up with that pass that was low. Seau misses the ground ball, but Quigley is there. Heavy collision. Robertson in front, and we're tied at 7.
Joe Robertson.
Back behind the play, Dylan Johnson was unable to get off the field, and obviously it turned into, in essence, a man-up situation for Duke.
Another ground ball. Unsettled situation. Duke comes up with the big 50-50. Brad Smith bangs it to the backside. Robertson, short side. Oh, man, what a great finish to that back pipe. That ball's in his stick for only a second before he gets it out. What a great finish. Duke capitalizing on all of the misfortunes and turnovers by Denver. Great job picking the ball up off the ground. Robertson is having himself a day. These guys right now, you see Brad Smith, Joe Robertson, these guys are starting to get their chemistry going. They're starting to feel it. They're starting to look for each other. These guys are starting to get into a nice little rhythm here. This is an exciting game.
We have a brand new ball game here in the fourth quarter. 10:42 to play. 7-all. Ginder and Bose once again Wing players just waiting for an opportunity. Ginder. Ball was given to Denver. No, okay, the official changed his mind. It's Blue Devil ball. I thought it was Duke ball, and when he pointed that way, I thought I might have missed something.
I was going to say, Ryan, I got to be honest, man. It's hard to be a ref and really read the face-off. There's so much going on in the middle of this scrap in the wings. That could have gone either way. You like to see him let him play it out in a tie game here and not let the refs insert themselves.
Garrett Ledman. Now Manown. I believe Duke is looking for its first lead since 1-0. Under 10 minutes to play.
Seeing a little bit of a different look here for Duke. They're starting to dodge from different areas on the field and force longer slides from the Denver defense, which is allowing more shooting lanes for the Duke offense.
It's just a more positive feel to Duke offensively here. It looks like crisper passing, a little bit more confidence in what they're doing.
The bench has come alive. The players are starting to communicate. You're starting to see them get organized. This is exciting here.
Ledman once again. He finds Smith. It's his left hand's free. Lowry leans into that one, and what a save by Alex Reddy. Could that be the momentum shifter that Denver was looking for? Could have been 8-7 Duke. Instead, now the Pioneers a chance to clear and retake the lead.
That was a big-time play by the senior, shutting the door. Great look by Lowry with the step down and Reddy just shutting the door. Great save by the senior, allowing Denver to get back on the offensive end and hopefully potentially take the lead.
Second team All-Big East a year ago. Pennsylvania native. Huge save for Denver there. Now they go back to work. It's Sullivan. Upgren got a piece of that one. That was on Cage.
Fresh shot clock.
Hanna trying Upgren from a sharp angle. You used the word ambitious before. Colton Jackson was able to shelf one from nearly 20 yards out. That one, though, that's a really tough angle to try to beat a goalie.
Coach Tierney's not happy right now. He's on the sideline letting him know, hey, we just got a fresh shot clock. We're in a tie game with 8 minutes left. Use the possession. Use the shot clock. Let's get a good look. Let's run our offense. He just gave Duke a great opportunity here to take the lead.
So Quigley to initiate. Barnes waiting for him. Here's Seau. Seau has a goal on the afternoon. Smith starting to look more and more like his All-American self. Walsh. Danny Logan has been tough to deal with here this afternoon. Walsh skips that one by. Seau's there for the backup, though.
Hats off to Duke's offensive coaches here. They've done a great job of making the adjustment of taking all the off-ball players and sliding them basically to the other half of the field, giving the guys who are dodging a little bit more room because of the long slides. And here we see them have Dever hung up behind the goal here. Walsh with 5 seconds.
Tries to skip that one across. Look at that pass intercepted by Brett Greenlee. Just reaching the pole out there and snagging that one in midair. Another defensive stop for Denver.
We're starting to see some big-time
wide
plays
open
here.
is Colton Jackson, and he has found a 3-on-2, and he sings that one high. Jackson was begging for the ball. He had nobody in front of him. Duke very lucky to escape there, still tied at 7.
Yeah, he's going to want that shot back. He could have taken at least 30 miles an hour off that shot and just put it in the dirt and probably been successful.
Hanna, nobody stepping to him, and he rings one off the crossbar. Second time in a row, the Blue Devils have allowed a shooter plenty of space. That time, the iron helping out.
Last time he was in this situation, he threw it right at Upgren's stick. He was not making that mistake again. He saw Upgren go low. He tried to put it high. What a great shot.
80 seconds on the shot clock. Post and crossbar are considered on goal. Hence the restart, or the reset.
That's a great, listen, as a lacrosse player and a kid and a coach, you love to see kids respond. Hanna got chewed out by Coach Tierney for maybe not putting that shot in the best spot. Comes back in and makes it great. Takes a great look at the cage.
Nice job by Van Raphorst there as Geis had beaten Lindsay. Here is Jackson. Prendergast. Shorty versus Shorty again. Sullivan and Lindsay. The bouncer is wide of the cage. Blue Devils have possession. Looked like it was Hannah one more time. Prendergast, who oftentimes handles business on his own, instead looked for Terry Lindsay. With less than 6 to play, Duke will have possession in a tie game.
Another great adjustment here. The Duke coaching staff, they're sliding a little bit earlier. They're helping out. They're covering the backside. There's really not many looks for this Denver offense either. This is really so much fun to watch. You're seeing two amazing coaching staffs, like you mentioned earlier. Almost 800 wins between the head coaches, their assistants, all world team players, and now coaches. This is a great matchup and what you want to see if you're a lacrosse fan.
Tierney and Danowski, 2 of the 4 active coaches with multiple national championships. The only 2 active coaches with 100 or more wins at 2 different schools. That was, again, an ambitious pass from Manown, but the Blue Devils able to come up with the ground ball. Substitution game. The Blue Devils have Ledman with a defender trailing him. Duke unable to take advantage, and thus they find Ledman. They do find him inside. I thought the opportunity was lost. Instead, the freshman gives Duke an 8-7 lead.
Number 50, Garrett Ledman.
Wow. What a big-time play. Not something you expect here from Ledman. Robertson looking, handles, finishes to the far pipe. What a great finish.
Ledman making the run, Robertson making the pass. The Blue Devils, for the first time in a long time, lead at home.
Another great adjustment here. The Duke coaching staff, they're sliding a little bit earlier. They're helping out. They're covering the backside. There's really not many looks for this Denver offense either. This is really so much fun to watch. You're seeing two amazing coaching staffs, like you mentioned earlier. Almost 800 wins between the head coaches, their assistants, all world team players, and now coaches. This is a great matchup and what you want to see if you're a lacrosse fan.
Tierney and Danowski, 2 of the 4 active coaches with multiple national championships. The only 2 active coaches with 100 or more wins at 2 different schools. That was, again, an ambitious pass from Manown, but the Blue Devils able to come up with the ground ball. Substitution game. The Blue Devils have Ledman with a defender trailing him. Duke unable to take advantage, and thus they find Ledman. They do find him inside. I thought the opportunity was lost. Instead, the freshman gives Duke an 8-7 lead.
Number 50, Garrett Ledman.
Wow. What a big-time play. Not something you expect here from Ledman. Robertson looking, handles, finishes to the far pipe. What a great finish.
Ledman making the run, Robertson making the pass. The Blue Devils, for the first time in a long time, lead at home.
Artificial intelligence helps us meet the needs of tomorrow, today.
By 2050, we need to produce 60% more food. So how do we feed the world without wrecking the planet? Using Microsoft AI, we make predictions about when to plant, when to irrigate, and when to harvest. Now we can reduce waste and produce more food.
Artificial intelligence helps us change the way we feed the world.
Blue Devils making another fourth quarter comeback. In fact, they've made it. They now lead 8-7, and for the second year in a row, Joe Robertson is a critical part of what happens. 4 goals last year. He's got another 4 this season. totally new and different look to this Duke team in this fourth quarter than we saw in quarters 2 and 3.
Robertson has been automatic around the cage, not to mention that last goal. He's shopping, and he found the inside cutter with Ledman and buried that goal to put Duke up 8-7 at a crucial point in this game. We're watching Ginder put his mark on this Duke team. He's come in and done a great job at the face-off X, brought some life, and we're watching this Duke sideline is into the game, the coaching staff fired up, and we're watching Denver on the other side. You see the life kind of taken out of their sails a little bit.
It seems so crazy to say the guy that's 6 for 13 at the face-off X is having a huge impact on this game, but if you saw what was happening before, if you just kind of joined the broadcast right now, it's hard to explain how dominant Bose was on the face-offs and how it was affecting everything else that was happening on the field. And that's just not the case anymore.
Bose came in and won the first 5 face-offs extremely cleanly. Backside, he had 2 shots on cage. Ginder came in, maybe a little bit of a liability in the clearing game, unfortunately, but there we see Denver take a timeout after the big turnover by Duke.
Timeout, Denver.
Yeah, Ginder there just caught in a scenario where he tried to elevate it to a teammate. He's frustrated with himself. He won the face-off, but now a turnover gives it back to Denver. 4:37 on the clock. Timeout for Coach Bill Tierney. Take another look at the draw here. Another one of these prolonged face-offs. See Ginder knowing that he has it secured and kind of looking around at his options.
Yeah, once you know you have the ball in your stick, now he's looking for an exit strategy. You see him plant his feet, he picks the ball up, and now where he's struggled a little bit right now is he needs to be able to feel that pressure and understand that that's a short stick that he can carry through and run all the way back to, Coach Stanowski calls it run to daylight, so he needs to understand that and do a little bit better job.
So how much of that is on him versus on his teammates? When you're kind of in the moment as the guy winning the face-off, your back is to the defender, your chest is to the sideline, you're kind of running out of real estate. What is everybody supposed to be saying to him in that instance to help him out?
Well, let's talk about this from 2 ways, Ryan. First of all, you really just want to see him put in his left hand and make a pass down the alley to JT Giles Harris, who's wide open. And as a teammate, obviously you can try and talk to him. You've got to understand, he's a freshman, top 10 matchup. Like you said, he might not have expected to play at all today. Here he is, cast into the limelight. He's winning the face-off. He just needs to take care of the ball a little bit better and maybe come up with a better exit strategy. You know Coach Danowski, Caputo, Karate, and Little Danowski are going to be able to put him in a situation and hopefully make some adjustments here with 4 minutes left in the clock.
Ellis Geis with the ball in his stick. Terry Lindsay keeping close watch. No Austin French today for Denver, and that's probably part of some of the struggles, or a lot of what's leading to the struggles offensively. 60 points a year ago, led the team in assists with 31. He's out for a couple of weeks with an injury, nothing severe enough for it to be season-ending, and they're just maybe the most careless turnover we've seen today for the Pioneers, and it comes at a really bad time.
You're watching this Denver team. They're really starting to tighten the grip on their sticks. They're starting to second-guess themselves. They're starting to make some careless errors, which we just did not see in the first half. And this Duke team start to play with a little bounce in their step. They're starting to play with that confidence that we've seen in the past. And they're starting to control this game here at a crucial moment. With only 3 minutes left in the clock, every possession, every second counts, especially with the shot clock. You know, Denver could potentially only see the ball one more time with the new rules, so Duke could really put a nail in the coffin here if they were able to score on this possession.
Talked about this being the first one-goal lead since 1-0. Duke looking for something right now they haven't had all day, and that's a multiple-goal lead. 3:25 on the clock. Timeout available to Coach John Danowski should he need or want to use it. Walsh looking to take Danny Logan. That's been a tough ask all day long. Quigley. Stick up around the neck area, and that'll draw a flag. So 15 seconds on the shot clock. Blue Devils looking at a man-up opportunity. Coaching staff imploring the team to just hang on to the ball, keep possession. Quigley down the alley, cutting in front of the cage, and buries that one to give Duke a 2-goal lead.
Number 12, Kevin Quigley.
This is why I love the shot clock. 6 seconds left, nothing to lose. You're going to lose the ball anyway. You've got a flag down. go to the cage with reckless abandon. Here we see Quigley get underneath the dive, far pipe. This is why I love the dive. Welcome back. Unbelievable play here. See him dive, put it to the far pipe. My goodness, this Duke team is absolutely feeling it right now as we see Quigley get up. With the emphasis on the fist pump, these boys are feeling it.
2:51 to go. Duke leading by 2. There you see his 4th of the year, had a dozen last season. Enormous face-off. Ginder and Bose. Can Bose win one for the Pioneers? It's Ginder again. Now, can he get the ball to a teammate? Duke has the timeout available if they want it. Ginder carries. Looking for Manown. Lindsay couldn't come up with the ground ball. Instead, transition for Denver. Here come the Pioneers. Geis steps on. Geis leans in and cuts the deficit to 1.
Oh, man. What a great play by Denver, capitalizing the costly turnover by Duke. Not a terrible look, but a big-time play and ground ball by Denver to get the ball up and out. Running the field, we got options in the 43 situation, and Guy steps in and lets that thing go. Upgren out of position due to the turnover. Here we see time and room. Short side, maybe, not really sure. Upgren was out of position there due to the turnover. Unfortunate error by Duke.
Huge potential 2-goal swing. It looked like it was in the stick of Manown. Couldn't come up with the ball, though. Pass was a little high. 2:25 to play, 9-8 the score.
Not only is it a turnover, but it forces Ginder to the sideline, but Smith
back in because he can carry the ball a bit better, perhaps, than Ginder. But now the question is, can Duke come up with the ball? Instead, it's Logan. Smith trying to chase him down. Pioneers will settle into their offense. So that is a bit of the double-edged sword for the Blue Devils. If they can come up with the ball, Smith's the better guy to possess it for Duke. But Ginder's the one that's winning it initially. Here is Hannah now. That one was deflected off the stick of Fowler. Just rolled back to Hannah from Jackson. 50 seconds on the shot clock. No problems there. Buck 41 left in the 4th quarter. Denver trying to tie this up. Sullivan shoots that one wide, not on Cage, so no reset. Denver trying to tie this up. Sullivan shoots that one wide, not on Cage, so no reset. Sullivan. Jackson now working against Prendergast. Sullivan once more. Stevenson. Then Rapphorst. Oh, a nice ground ball picked up, and Upgren comes up with a huge save. It was Simmons that was able to keep possession. Turner Upgren, much as he started the game, coming up with an enormous save here. Stevenson leaves that one on the ground. Push from behind. No whistle. Massive scrum here with less than a minute to play. Who will have possession coming out of this? Ball is alive at midfield. Another couple players run by it. The pull for Denver. Can they score in transition? Oh, the pass. Was it a pass or a shot? Referees rule that it was a shot, and so it stays with Denver. Timeout Tierney. 46-1 to go. And the Pioneers trail by 1. Boy, what a boring game this afternoon.
This has been an amazing game. We're watching big-time players make big-time plays on a national stage here. Saturday afternoon. What a great... Here we see Upgren get the ball up and out. Giles Harris running in transition. And we're seeing him throw the ball here. Unfortunate error there. You've got to catch it before you pick it up. Might have been a loose ball push, but I'm happy they're letting the guys play in this stage. Denver with a big-time ground ball. These are the 50-50 situations we had talked about earlier where we needed to see who was going to come up with this play, and we saw Denver and Robertson been quiet all day, able to get to the middle there and put that shot wide. Sorry, Walker. My apologies. Haven't heard much from him today. Would have been a big goal if he was able to hit that. Now Denver, 72 seconds left on the shot clock, irrelevant because there's only 40 in the game. Let's see what Coach Brown does here versus, last time we saw a timeout situation, Coach Caputo and the Blue Devils shut off the shorties. and made it really hard for Denver. Let's see what they bring here out of the timeout.
So 9-8 is the score. What an incredible back and forth game this has been. Nobody has led by more than 3. It was 6-3 Denver. Excuse me, 6-2 Denver. Sorry, so Pioneers have led by 4 at one point. Duke has come all the way back, taken the lead. And now a chance to tie.
Denver setting up 2 short sticks behind the cage, attacking on Duke's short stick D middies, trying to get a little bit of space.
And behind the cage, Geis. Working against Lindsay, the shorty. Now Prendergast and Hannah get together. 22 seconds left. Hannah, the spin move. The sharp angle! Somehow Alex Simmons slides it past Upgren with 18.7 left. We are tied at 9.
Alex Simmons. Assist from number 3, Jack.
This is a great heads-up play by Hannah. Who else would you want the ball with right now in this situation other than Hannah? Takes his guy behind the cage. He's operating, trying to find a slide. He draws a quick slide and finds, Simmons wide open on the backside. And there you see what an unbelievable finish. Upgren really didn't have a chance. Duke, I know they wish they had that one back. Unbelievable play by Denver there.
It was Smith back out there ready to take the face-off for Brett Bowes, or against Brett Bowes. Duke will take a timeout with just under 19 seconds to play.
Man, this is exciting.
I don't think either team has a timeout remaining. Into the huddles we go. Obviously limited time to do much of anything here.
Ryan, I'm going to go back and say I think the story of the day right now is when you look at the shot comparison between Denver and Duke. We're going to take another look here at this goal, and I don't know if Duke necessarily needed to slide there. They might have created a little offense for Denver and opened up the backside there. It was almost like, Hannah was waiting for Duke to slide, and again, the senior makes a big-time play, finding the freshman on the back pipe.
Should nobody score in the next 18.7, we will head to overtime here at Koskinen Stadium. Denver has won its last 6 overtime games and 9 of its last 10. You see some of the rules, maybe the most important one, sudden victory. The thing with lacrosse, you can score quickly, especially depending on how things play out at the face-off X.
Interesting choice here by the Duke coaching staff. Ginder has been giving Bose a really tough time at the face-off X. Now they're bringing in Smith. He's fresh. Maybe he's got a little bit more of an advantage, and hopefully it'll pay off for Duke. If not, remember, Bose won a couple out the front, and they could score really quickly here.
It all starts with the face-off. Bose and Smith. Bose wins it, but the Blue Devils able to collapse on him. Then Raphorst from the wing. 10 seconds left in the game. Smith was there. Manown scoops it up and fires one on goal! 6.9 left, and Duke leads 10-9!
Unbelievable play. Sometimes, Ryan, it's better to be lucky than good, and I think that's what Duke's saying right now. What an unbelievable bounce for Joey Manown to have that ball just pop right to his stick and him able to finish on the backside.
Watch this one from the top because it didn't take long, just about 12 seconds. Bose had the ball, but the Blue Devils, led by Brian Smith, do a great job of getting it out and away from him. Just rolls to Joey Manown, who scoops it up and fires it in the back of the net, and we head back to the face-off now. These two combatants at it one more time. 4 seconds to play, and that's going to do it. The Blue Devils, another comeback win against Denver. 10-9 here at Koskinen Stadium.
When it came down late in the game, Cade Van Raphorst, 2 of the biggest ground balls of his career, one to allow Duke to score that last-second goal in there to secure the game at the end. What an unbelievable job by this Duke team, weathering the storm, pun intended, to be able to come back and beat this Denver team in a sloppy but well-coached, well-fought game.
Duke was able to dial down the turnovers, but when the Blue Devils were turning it over at their worst today, Turner Upgren was so solid in goal in between the pipes in the first and second quarters to keep Duke within reach. It could have easily been a 6-7-8 goal lead for the Pioneers. 9 saves for him. But here's that last face-off and then goal one more time. Again, maybe a bit lucky rather than good. Manown has one shot at this for the win and just beats Alex Reddy. Appropriate celebration there for Manown.
We talked about the Duke coaching staff and what a high risk, high reward that was, and that's why they pay those guys the big bucks. Congratulations to Duke and that team.
What
Great
a
job.
finish. What a game. Last year, the Blue Devils made a huge fourth-quarter run. They do it again this year. 6-3, they win the final 15 minutes. A hat trick, make it 4, actually, for Joe Robertson. Up and down we went for a while. The weather certainly wreaking havoc on both teams. But in the end, the Blue Devils moved to 3-1 on the season. Denver suffers its first loss of 2019. For Joe Sanofsky and the rest of our broadcast crew, I'm Ryan Craig. If you want to watch this one on replay, and we certainly suggest you do, go to watchespn.com or download the app. Have a great afternoon, everyone.